What? Bang!
Whoa! Wrestling podcast. Just when they think they got the answers, I change the question.
Rep screwed rep.
Yeah!
Woo!
Who are you to doubt El Dan? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Did he do it? Unbelievable!
Too hot to handle and too cold to hold. And I am Macho King Savage.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty! I said WWE stands for!
It's me, Austin! I will never retire!
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners. Welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. We are available on all social media platforms, so like, share, comment, subscribe, whatever one you use, whether it's YouTube, Rumble, Odysee, Daily Motion, you name it, Bluesky, Facebook. We're on all of them. Like, share, comment, subscribe. It all helps the logarithm, helps us bring more content to you. If you are looking for a new friend to bring the family game night, it's easy. Tonight's lead-in sponsor, Sketchy People. Showcase your artistic side in this game from Beezle Games by going to thegamecrafter.com and picking up your copy today. Hey, are you sick and tired of dropping $60 to $100 for the latest and greatest wrestling video games? Stop immediately. Go to Wrestler Unstoppable, available totally free. App.WrestlerUnstoppable.com is the website where you can create a wrestler, sign contracts, get into storylines, headline PLEs, even build your own corporation. All included in Wrestler Unstoppable, available totally free. If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family, you want your name in the shoutouts like my good buddy John in Texas, then you got to pop over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Podcast. Sign up today. And look, there's multiple tiers. You can do the free tier, and they'll just let you know every time we put up new content. We'd appreciate that. We'd love to have you as a part of our Pro Wrestling Podcast family. If you want to contribute any kind of monetary donation, all monetary donations get mentioned in the shout-outs. So we would appreciate that. We'd love that. Helps us keep the lights on. If you want to become part of the show, you want to co-host with me, any $15 a month contributor gets to co-host a show with myself. If you're a $7.50 a month contributor, you get to co-host a show if your name gets pulled by a random draw through a lottery system. So we'd love to have you be a part of the show. We'd love to have your support. If nothing else, we'd love to just have your subscription so you can be a part of our podcast family and find out every time we put an episode up. That being said, if you have questions, comments, something you want me to touch on in the future episode, the best way to get those into me is through the Pro Wrestling Sound Off line, 267-642-1160. And I will get to those in a future episode. I am Dr. Fro. I am with you tonight talking all things pro wrestling. Lots of stuff in the news today. Let's get started with the biggest news of the day. Ilja Dragunov, former WWE superstar. Yes, you heard me say that right. Former WWE superstar, because he has chosen. Early reports were that WWE released him. That is not the case. Then it was just his contract ran out. We've gotten much more detail at this point. It is being reported by Pro Wrestling Insider that Ilja Dragunov has been in intense negotiations with WWE for the last couple months, has been off TV since, I believe, early April 17th, something like that. But that he has been off TV and he's been negotiating a return to television and a new contract. There were plans for him to return to TV just after SummerSlam. Unfortunately, those never came to fruition because Ilja Dragunov has chosen to leave WWE. His contract is expired. This is not a termination. This is not a release. And it was not because WWE didn't want him anymore, or even about the money. They were making it offers to keep him and wanted to retain his services. He chose to leave, which is fascinating. Now, where does Ilja Dragunov go from here? Does he go to AEW, where they have a much harder hitting style, something I think he would really appreciate, and they don't mind accentuating, I hate to say it this way, but smaller stature wrestlers. As a matter of fact, I would argue larger bodied wrestlers in AEW don't get very far. If you don't believe that, take a look at Brian Cage or Lance Archer. It's the more standard body individuals that seem to get very far in AEW. So I think he'd do great there. I think he'd do phenomenal in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Or does he do something like Aleister Black just did? Malachi Black. Does he go back to places like Progress and the European independent scene? WXW or something like that? I don't know. It is sad for me to see him go because there were a lot of times last year that I thought his matches were the best matches of the week in WWE. This is a guy who can go with anybody. His feud with Gunther in NXT and NXT UK is just a thing of beauty. It is one of the most hard-hitting feuds you have ever seen, and just this guy is so immensely talented. So for WWE to lose him right now, very, very concerning. I wish him nothing but the best in his future endeavors. I know WWE used to do that. Now they don't do it quite the same. He was moved to the alumni section on WWE.com, so this isn't conjecture or hypotheticals. This is all in real time. And theoretically, if his contract expired, there should be no 90-day no-compete clause. He could theoretically show up at Wembley for AEW. That's my assertion. That's what it sounds like to me, is that he could show up for Wembley, which is part of probably why WWE wanted to sign him so bad. If Tony Khan offers him the right money, we may see Ilja Dragunov a lot sooner than people may have expected. I think at Wembley would be a great idea. Now, WWE's losing Ilja, somebody they're getting back. Bronson Reed is almost ready for his return. If you haven't seen pictures online, this guy went from about 380 down to like 285. This guy is really jacked now. He looks phenomenal. And the word is he's getting a main event push when he gets back to the ring. I can't wait to see him. This guy has been snake bitten with injuries. It was the ankles. It was the torn bicep. Now he's coming back, and I hope they finally push him to the mountaintop. Perhaps he gets involved in the Braun Breaker Obafemi thing. Not sure. It's Sunday night's main event. I apologize. Still got to get used to that. I'm not sure how they're going to do it if he's ready in time, but it's going to be great to get him back to TV. Somebody who's not coming back to WWE, but is retired, but there's a conversation took place where there's some teasing that he could. Eric Bischoff was on his 83 Weeks podcast talking about the prospect, theoretically, of Brock Lesnar coming out of retirement to compete in Real American Freestyle Wrestling, the organization that he and Hulk Hogan had started, because Brock has such a history with amateur wrestling and is in such great shape at his age. He believes it's not out of the realm of possibility that he could come to RAF and really do some crazy stuff. And frankly, for me, I'd love to see it. Can you imagine a Brock Lesnar-Gable Steveson match? Or a Hendrickson match? I would love to see either one of those. I actually hope he does it. I want to see Brock do anything. I really do. Brock's one of my favorite talents of all time. If you listen to the show, tune in to previous episodes, you've heard me say that same thing. I just like to see him do something. I know he's not big on speaking engagement, public appearances, things like that. Wants to really kind of keep to himself, be a family guy. But I'd still love to see him in a ring, even if it's a amateur wrestling ring. So we'll have to wait and see. Somebody we're not going to see anytime soon, Sami Zayn. The injury angle that they're playing up on SmackDown apparently is a legitimate broken wrist or broken hand. It is reported, I believe Sean Ross Sapp reporting that this is legit injury. They're working through it, trying to find ways to keep him on TV, but he's not going to have a lot of matches because it's a legit injury. And what a horrible time for that to happen. He was in such a high spot being champion for the 9 days that he was. You really thought they would give him something at the main event level going forward because they took the belt off him so quick. But how do you do that when the guy's injured? Very frustrating for him, I'm sure. Hopefully he gets back to it. We get to see a great feud coming out of Sunday night's main event, and hopefully we get a chance to see him get back into the world title picture. I'd like to see him have another run. I really would. I know it's been a short period of time since he had it already, but I'd like to see him get a more substantial run. I really would. From there, let's talk about somebody looking to make one more run themselves. That would be Awesome Kong, also known as her government name, Kia Stevens. Legendary performer in TNA, basically the face of the Knockouts division in its early formation. Her and Gail Kim did have a brief run as Karma in WWE. Did not work out for her there. Pregnancy scares, things like that. Appearance in the Royal Rumble as a female, which in the male Royal Rumble was interesting. Left there, short time in AEW. Did some things on Glow, the TV show that used to be syndicated back in the day. But now has stepped away from the ring, but she has made it clear she wants to have one more run. If somebody would train her and prepare her for the right opportunity, she'd like to come back and have one more run. And why not? She was so inventive when she was wrestling. She had so much perspective. Great worker. I mean, you talk about work rate. This lady could do anything you needed her to do. Really great stuff. So I'm really hoping that she gets that opportunity. Somebody needs to step up and train the lady and get her ready so she can make a return to the ring. Somebody else who was trying to make a return to the ring. Now, again, I don't know. I'm hearing that this is kayfabe. I'm hearing other people say it's legitimate. But Nigel McGuinness, after beating Hechicero on Dynamite, is supposed to battle for the Ring of Honor Pure title at Death Before Dishonor, and if he loses, he can never wrestle for Ring of Honor again against Lee Moriarty. But it turns out he's being pulled from that match because of injury. Again, is this a angle or is it legit? I actually am happy with him getting pulled from the match because I don't want any stipulation about people never wrestling anywhere ever again. I think that's stupid. I would never book that in the first place. Word is it's either going to be Wheeler Yuta or Katsuyori Shibata to replace him in the match and take on Lee Moriarty. I'm pulling for Shibata so that he can win the title from Moriarty, and then we can get a rematch with Shibata taking on McGuinness whenever this injury angle plays itself out. But I hate seeing injury angles that are works when Death Before Dishonor is such a huge part of Ring of Honor history, and him being on the card as a guy who had so much to give in Ring of Honor really just makes the card feel more authentic, more legit. I would have liked to see him perform on the show. Maybe he'll do something else on the show. Maybe he'll do commentary, but I would have liked to have seen him in the ring. Really would. Pat McAfee in the news. That's another tidbit for the week. Making it clear he is never returning to WWE. It almost comes across as like spiteful at this point. Because again, kind of like I said a few minutes ago about like never having the never wrestle in this company thing for Ring of Honor for Nigel McGuinness. I don't want to hear never again from Pat McAfee for WWE either. Unless he's got so much bad blood for some reason. I hate that. I know he cares very much about what he does and how he performed, and I know he was not received well at the WrestleMania angle with Randy Orton. I get all that, but I hate the never thing. They always say never. I'd rather that. Never say never. Just say I'm not coming back. Because you could always go back on your word if you're the heel anyways. But I didn't like him reiterating this. Then again, he did just sign on to like the Monday Night Football lead-in show. He's got other things, College Game Day and stuff like that going on, his podcast show. So he's got a lot going on. Maybe that's why, but I'd still like to see him wrestle again. That's just my opinion. And then got to touch on it because it was a big story. Road Dogg going back and forth with Dave Meltzer and others online about, it started out about the Guns, Colton and Austin Gunn, saying that the AEW tag titles were beneath them. And look, they're a great tag team, but it led to some back and forth banter with he and several people. And then he ended up saying, somebody said that he should go work for AEW. He says that he got turned down by AEW because of his political views, that he's conservative, but did not vote for Trump. And somehow that's weighing into it. And look, I'm not trying to be that guy, but I don't buy it for a second. I really don't. There's plenty of guys, I'm sure, that are in AEW who have varying political views, various religious perspectives, probably have varying opinions on abortion and education and military spending and defense spending and all that stuff, and yet they're still hired. As a matter of fact, we know that's the case from some of the people and things they've done previously in their lifetime related to some of these issues. So I don't think that precludes him from getting a job there. It's got to be something more to that. But that's his story. That's what he's sticking to. He did not have things work out well with TNA. He did not end up going there. So he said that he's just staying at home and enjoying time with his family. Good for him. But I don't like all the banter about AEW because if they did turn him down for whatever reason and it was, let's just say an amicable denial, he could still go back. But if you start talking trash about him, which is kind of what people were getting at with the Guns comment, then you basically burn that bridge and you're never going to get a shot. Unless he's just ready to retire. I mean, at his age, maybe he is, and maybe he's stockpiled his cash and he's good, but I wouldn't play it that way. That's just my opinion. I'd look for a better approach. In the end, he's his own man. We'll see how it plays out. I'm kind of surprised with having Billy Gunn there that he didn't get in, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. That's all the time we have for this episode. Check back with us next episode. We run down the latest wrestling news and rumors. Special thanks, as always, to Suno for creating the music and sound effects we use in our show. As I said earlier, if you're looking to bring a new friend to family game night, it's easy with Sketchy People. Showcase your artistic side in this game from Beezle Games by going to thegamecrafter.com, picking up a copy today. But hey, why stop there? You've been bringing the same board games to every family dinner and get-together for your entire life. We're done with Monopoly. Who needs Parcheesi? No more Trivial Pursuit. It's time for something new. So if you're not going to grab Sketchy People, maybe you want to test your skills against everybody else shopping at the supermarket who can get in and get out the fastest. Do that with Banani Market by Doodle Games. Or cruise the cosmos, picking up relics in all corners of the universe, and see if you can get to the final challenge first in Legendary Elements by Fufu Games. All three of these games available at thegamecrafter.com. Support independent gaming creation. It's the best thing you could do to help these small creators finally get a foothold and get their creativity out there. If you're looking for your next career move, you're considering college or university life, maybe you just need some formal training for your next career decision, go to my website at frolifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Fro Life educational planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Dr. Fro. I want to thank you for taking some time with us today. Until next time, take care, everybody. Have a great night.
Wrestling Podcast.